On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, I've handpicked another 5 top crypto news stories of the day, including the first ever way to get XRP without using an exchange, a new batch of technical content with regards to ZeroConf, some overhype coming from the TRON project, the IMF stating the obvious about cryptos will impact the world financial system, and a look at EOS versus Ethereum in terms of decentralized exchanges. So timestamps for all those segments are in the video description if you wish to skip ahead to any one in particular. Also remember, if you want to earn cryptocurrency rewards and get paid in crypto for watching the show without ads, head over to the website, thecryptoverse.show, click on that big blue button in the top right hand corner that says get paid to watch, and then there's a little 2-minute explainer video that explains how you can get paid to watch the show and remove ads at the same time. So let's begin. Introducing XRP cashouts on the Omni app. So this is some new adoption for XRP token. So check this out. This comes from the Omni blog. It's their Medium blog. So Omni is like this, it's a sharing app. It's like an Airbnb style sharing app where instead of renting out a property, well, you can pretty much rent out anything. Household items, carpet cleaners, whatever. Say, for example, they have this try before you buy section. So say you could rent out my HTC Vive for a day to see if you like playing virtual reality before you go out and spend all the money on your own, right? And they're like $10 for the day, right? Versus spending $600-700 on a full kit. You might not want to do that. So you can also rent things like these big 5-foot outdoor speakers if you want to do it for an event or a party or a wedding or whatever. You can rent power tools, you get the idea, right? Now, because it's a sharing app, you're renting from people in your local area rather than from a structured formal rental company. That's kind of how Uber and the Airbnbs work in the world, right? So Omni is this app for renting out anything. So their whole motto is live lighter, which kind of sums them up nicely. Now, their official announcement here says that they received $25 million of new capital from the Ripple team. So that's probably why they chose to integrate XRP over any other cryptocurrency. And on top of that, though, they are looking for, instant, cheap, global transaction settlement. So you'll now be able to cash out your rental income in XRP. If you happen to rent something out on the app and you want to withdraw your balance, you can do that in US dollars, and now you can do it in XRP. Now, they say this is the first time that consumers have been able to get XRP outside of an exchange, which is an interesting point. It doesn't actually say anything about being able to pay in XRP through the app, though, only cashing out the rental income. So this for me highlights a clear trend towards crypto adoption, brilliant use case that solves a real problem, say where the app business needs to pay people in every country in small amounts, right? I'm thinking back to Indahash, which I still hold on my Indahash tokens, by the way. They are a perfect example. So by moving to Ethereum, Indahash instantly removed the need to even consider which country they were sending payment to. No longer is a consideration at all, right? To them, it's all just Ethereum addresses, end of story. And in the case of Omni, it's just an XRP address. Who cares where they are? So this is the very same use case that's going to be very tempting to all those other sharing apps out there. What we really want to see, though, is one of the major big 800-pound gorilla apps shift to crypto payments. I'm talking about Uber or Lyft or Airbnb. The day that they announce that their drivers and their hosts can now withdraw their earnings in crypto, that will be the day. So watch this space. Next story. The recordings for this year's Satoshi's Vision conference are now up on YouTube. So this is another Bitcoin Cash story if you want to skip ahead, if you don't like that kind of thing. But so the Satoshi's Vision conference, there's like a good 3 to 4 hours of content here. Yes, it's Bitcoin Cash, like I say. However, what impressed me about this is that instead of just saying like, well, ZeroConf doesn't work, and then just walking away, they had an entire conference focused on discussing, okay, how do we make ZeroConf work? So they're coming from the mindset of like possibility and innovation. for the benefit of the cryptocurrency consumer, which is something I always appreciate. The fact is, if we could do zero conf, that's brilliant for the user because it means instantaneous transactions. So rather than to go, no, that's too difficult, it's like, okay, how do we make this work? That's the attitude that I like. And just to make sure we're all on the same page here, zero conf is short for zero confirmations, which solves that problem where like you send some Bitcoin to an exchange and then the exchange makes you wait like 3 or even 6 confirmations before the money actually shows up in your account. Zero conf is that. It's instantaneous transactions. And they're working on all kinds of ways to prevent, double spends and so on. So there's 3 to 4 hours of content on all these developers really trying hard to solve this problem. Even a couple of them actually intentionally double spent themselves just to see how the parameters worked and how often it happens. It's brilliant stuff. I mean, they're really trying to solve this problem for the benefit of the user, and that's the thing that I really appreciate. On to the next story. More hot air from the TRON project, which is a shame after I praised them the other day for integrating with BitTorrent. But the Cointelegraph have published this story right here, which has the headline, Confirmed, Baidu and TRON to cooperate on cloud computing resources. Now I had a feeling that this was hype, which is why I didn't report on the rumors when they were going around. About a week ago, Justin Sun tweeted out hinting at a secret partnership with an industry giant that is valued at tens of billions of dollars. So it sounded like it was something big, but turns out they're just going to be using Baidu's basic cloud computing infrastructure to, quote, build, operate, and debug blockchain projects, close quote. I mean, look, I'm a veteran of marketing, so I understand the need to turn anything into a PR opportunity, right? However, there is a line that is crossed in marketing when it becomes clearly misleading. That's the ethics of marketing. It's okay to exaggerate a bit because you want to make yourself look good, right? And you want to get the attention on whatever great thing that you're doing. However, if you push that too far, it crosses the line into misinformation. So that phrase, valued at tens of billions of dollars, that was intentionally vague so that we would think that the deal was going to be worth tens of billions, rather than being a reference to the value of Baidu, which was more accurately what they were talking about. Because crypto is unregulated, you can't get done for manipulating the markets or securities fraud because they're not securities. That's why Elon Musk got into trouble for a tweet that was similar to this, but because Tesla is traded on the stock market, which is regulated and a security, he got done for it. Whereas Justin Sun can say what he likes. So if you accused Justin Sun of being misleading, he could easily just blame you for it and say, well, you just interpreted it wrong, and then he'd get away with it, right? Because he said, well, I meant Baidu was worth tens of billions, not the deal. So that's your fault. And he would get away with it. So I'm a massive EOS fanboy, and one of the reasons for that is that you don't see Block One doing this kind of stuff, right? If you look at their news section on Block One's website, you will see how they take a much more professional approach to their announcements and so on. To me, this betrays the different audiences that they're each appealing to. So Justin Sun's teaser tweet, it's an appeal to less sophisticated investors or a less sophisticated audience anyway, while Block One, they're appealing more to corporate leaders. If you just look at the whole approach, you'll see how that is. There is a quote in this article that sums it up quite nicely, actually. At the very end here, in orange, I've highlighted it. It says, some crypto commentators have more broadly taken issue with the characterization of the Baidu-Tron agreement as a partnership. And in a tweet on the 15th of October, popular Twitter crypto commentator Ari Paul argued that, quote, if I buy a computer with Microsoft Windows installed, I should not claim that I have partnered with Microsoft without clarifying the limited nature of the partnership, close quote. So I thought that summed up quite nicely. On to the next story. The IMF says that rapid growth of Bitcoin and crypto will impact the global financial system. So this was an article from ccn.com. Here it is, right? Unbelievable. If there was one thing that I hate in the crypto space, it's when people who still live in the old system, the old financial system, state the friggin' obvious. So you're damn right it'll impact the global financial system. I'd say replacing the financial system can be considered making an impact, right? It actually says here, quote, continued rapid growth of crypto assets could create new vulnerabilities in the international financial system, close quote. They mean expose vulnerabilities, not create them. The vulnerabilities in the existing financial system is already there. So crypto is not going to cause them, as it says here. It says could create new vulnerabilities. It will not create anything. It will just expose the existing vulnerabilities. The valid point that they did make, though, was with regards to security. The main reason people are losing money in crypto right now is more to do with poor security practices than anything else, right? I have noticed this myself, so I've started working on a new course dedicated entirely to teaching people security best practices, because I think that's probably the course people should go through first before they do anything else, right? Because otherwise the scammers are going to win. So, next story, Battle of the Decentralized Exchanges. One EOS decentralized exchange records more volume than all Ethereum exchanges combined. That's the headline anyway. I'm going to rebalance this. This was reported by the Crypto Globe, and that was the headline that I just read out there. There's no need to belabor this point, but I do have some subtleties to add to this. So you can look on dappradar.com and do this calculation for yourself anytime you want. So yes, EOS is transacting more in terms of monetary value on the decentralized exchange known as Nudex. But to be fair, I looked at the numbers myself, and Ethereum is actually doing a greater number of transactions. So the EOS is doing a greater monetary value of trades, but the Ethereum exchanges are doing more actual transactions. For example, in the last 24 hours, IDEX, which is a decentralized exchange built on Ethereum, it has recorded 11,687 transactions, while Nudex on EOS has recorded 3,996. So near enough 11,500 transactions in the last 24 hours on an EOS decentralized exchange, near enough 4,000 in the last 24 hours on an EOS-based exchange. So one thing that is worth highlighting from this article is the difference in the amount of funding that has been put behind decentralized exchanges on each of the relevant platforms, Ethereum and EOS. So Ethereum has like Bancor, which did an ICO and raised hundreds of millions of dollars. Then there's the 0x protocol on Ethereum, tons of money behind that as well. So not only are they very well funded on the Ethereum side, they've also had a significant head start in terms of time. Right? Both of those projects, Bancor and 0x, they've been around for at least a year with all of the Ethereum development community around them. Nudex, by comparison, is just some EOS-based app someone launched shortly after the EOS mainnet went live, and it's already 30% of the way there to matching IDEX in terms of the number of transactions per day. Now, from a business standpoint, it's so much easier from a technical standpoint to build an app on EOS than it is on Ethereum. So I think that fact alone gives EOS a huge edge, since it will just simply attract more apps. And if it has a lot more apps on EOS, simply by the law of averages, EOS is much more likely to have a handful of apps that go viral just based on the numbers alone. So that's all I've got for you today. If you like this episode, go ahead, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Please leave me a comment below with some feedback and get subscribed. And if you would like to get paid in crypto for watching the show and get rid of ads simultaneously, check out the website, thecryptoverse.show. Click on this big blue button that says Get Paid to Watch, and that'll explain exactly how that works. Other than that, I'll be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.